Syllabus for GATE 2027 has been updated, is revised, is changed. So after carefully analyzing entire PDF, each and every single word with the previous syllabus, we have compiled a table of what changed in the syllabus, what topics got added, where wording got changed, where things got removed from the syllabus, and where even after removal the things can be asked in the exam, and which of these were actually already in the syllabus. So we have a detailed analysis of the syllabus with us. Make sure to watch this video properly because it is about syllabus. There should be no doubt in your mind that you must have absolute clarity about what to read, what not to read, and what is in the syllabus. So whatever changes are there in the GATE syllabus, I have categorized them into 4 categories. Added in syllabus means there are actually some addition in the syllabus and not just the change of language or change of wording. Those cases where it is just change of wording, there is a separate column which is wording clarified. Third column is where things have been removed from the PDF, but actually it can still be asked. I'll tell you how, I'll discuss that. And fourth column is for the cases which are actually already in the syllabus, things that were already in the syllabus but they just mentioned it for clarity. So let us start subject by subject from engineering mechanics. Before the update it mentioned rolling friction, but now it mentions rolling resistance. So basically it is the same thing, just it's a clarification of wording. So you can see that a dot has been placed for wording clarified. Same for trusses and frames. Obviously we discuss about plain trusses and frames only which are in 2D. So yes, it is again a case of just wording clarified, not any change or addition. This is an interesting case. Lagrange's equation used to be there in the syllabus. It was actually added in the syllabus 6 years ago. In GATE 2021 it was added, and I think just one question got asked in last 6 years, and now it is not mentioned in the GATE updated syllabus. There is no mention. So does it mean it is removed from the syllabus? Many of the students think that it has been removed, but I think it can still be asked because anyway Lagrange's equation was sort of a subtopic of energy methods, right? This is not a topic, this is not a concept which is separate from the concept of energy. So while the discussion that we do in Lagrange's equation is slightly analytical, but conceptually it is well within energy methods only. So it is, as per me, it is not strictly out of syllabus. In fact, adding this separately was sort of not required as such. Why? Because look, whenever GATE syllabus is defined like this, that sometimes it can mention unit name, sometimes it can mention topic name. If within a unit there are three topics, so GATE syllabus sometimes will just mention the unit name in the syllabus, but sometimes they will randomly mention a topic name as well in the syllabus. Ideally these topics come under a single unit, so just mentioning unit itself should be sufficient, but sometimes they do mention the topic separately other than unit, sometimes they remove it, and these kind of things confuse students whether something is in the syllabus or it is not in the syllabus. Got it? So what I feel, same is true for this Lagrange's equation. It is removed from the PDF, but I think it is strictly not out of syllabus. You definitely at least should know what this is and how this is analysis is done. That's it. You don't need to extensively practice lots and lots of questions of Lagrange's equation. You won't find its questions in our test series, in our practice questions, but it is going to be there in Exergic video course. I am not going to remove it from the Exergic video course because of the fact that I just explained. So yes, it is not mentioned explicitly in the PDF, but it can still be asked. You should know what this is, and it is not a very complicated thing. It is a very basic analysis. So I think it is something which can still be asked, but yes, it is not something that now you need to focus upon. If you are less confident in Lagrange's equation, it is okay, because explicitly now it has not mentioned anymore. Now let us proceed to the second subject, which is strength of materials. Before the update, it mentioned elastic constants, Poisson ratio. These two things were mentioned before the update. After the update, it mentions elastic constants and their relationships. So does it mean that Poisson ratio has been removed? Absolutely not. This is what I was telling you actually. This is what I told you here. This is what I told you here. That sometimes they will mention the topic, sometimes they won't. Because when you are studying elastic constant and their relationships, Poisson ratio has to be covered there. Poisson ratio is one of the parameters when you relate different elastic constants together. So as you know, they mentioned it earlier. It was actually not required to separately mention, and that's what they have corrected, fixed here. So it is just a case of wording clarified. This is interesting. This case is interesting. Testing of materials with universal testing machine. This was one. And testing of hardness and impact strength. These two things were separately mentioned earlier. And if you look at the update, here you won't find the word testing, you won't find the word universal testing machine. Rather, a new word has been added. You can analyze it and check. Mechanical properties of materials. This is a new word that they have added, which was not there earlier. Where they have mentioned toughness as well, which was not there earlier. Hardness and impact strength were there already. So what is changing here? If you analyze carefully, testing word they have removed and they have made the topic broader. So it is absolutely wrong to say that it is removed from the syllabus. Some of the students are wondering if, sir, this is removed from the syllabus. The topic has actually expanded. Earlier it was only mentioning the testing of the materials and testing of hardness and impact. Now it is not just about testing, it is a broad topic, mechanical properties of material. Now how do you define those properties? How do you test those properties? How do you compare those properties among different materials? All of that comes under this. So earlier testing, one of the subtopics, was only written in the syllabus. Now the broad topic name has been written, which already includes testing. So if you think UTM testing has been removed from the syllabus, absolutely not. In fact, conceptually also, if you know, right? UTM testing of material, if you remove, then how do you get stress strain diagram? How do you even understand stress strain diagram? How do you even differentiate between engineering stress and true stress? So, and that absolutely is in the syllabus. In fact, engineering stress strain graph and true stress strain graph has been explicitly mentioned this time in the syllabus in material science. So if that is in the syllabus, how can UTM be out of the syllabus? So it is absolutely required to build the concepts. In fact, if you look at the YouTube channel of Exergic, my recent video is on UTM only, where I told this, that direct questions from UTM are not going to be asked, but that knowledge is required to actually understand stress strain graph. So after entire lecture, I explicitly told that don't write anything from this in the notes. You don't have to write any of this in the notes, because these things are not directly asked in the exam. Rather, their concepts are used to understand stress strain diagram. Exactly, I said this before the GATE syllabus change, so you can go and check the video. So that is why those who think it is removed from the syllabus, they are absolutely wrong. In fact, this topic has been extended. So that's why I'm putting it in wording clarified. In fact, I could have put it here, added in syllabus, because now other than testing, there are a lot more things which you need to know about as per GATE syllabus. We were already discussing all the other things in the course. So as such, in the course, no other addition is required. We have thoroughly discussed all the things, but now scope has expanded and not reduced. Keep this in mind. So it is in fact a point of added in syllabus as well as wording clarified. Coming to next, stress and strain components transformation in 2D. It is just something which is already in the syllabus. As I told you, some things they mentioned, some things they were not mentioned. So we already know that stress strain transformation for 2D cases is in the syllabus. And obviously this is something which is already covered in Exergic course, so you don't have to bother about it. It is already in the syllabus. This is a necessary change. The last point of strength of materials, thin cylinders was written in the syllabus, and now it has been changed to thin walled pressure vessel, because obviously we don't just talk about cylinder, we talk about sphere as well, right? So writing thin cylinder was technically incomplete, which they have now completed by mentioning pressure vessels, which include cylinder as well as sphere. So yes, it is a case of wording clarified. So as such, in strength of materials, there is no meaningful addition in the syllabus. Here also, I just missed to summarize mechanics as well. In mechanics also there was no meaningful addition in the syllabus. Coming to vibrations, theory of machines. So as such, vibrations and theory of machines are defined separately in GATE syllabus as we know, but we cover vibrations under theory of machines only because it is a single unit. There are meaningful changes in the syllabus of vibrations. Let's start. Single degree of freedom systems was there before the update. It is a meaningful change that they have now added 2 degree of freedom cases as well. This is absolutely added in the syllabus. So you must be thoroughly conceptually strong in 2 degree of freedom cases as well. Whatever additions are there in the GATE syllabus are obviously going to be added in Exergic course properly, thoroughly. We are going to understand it so that if any question comes from 2 degree of freedom case, you will absolutely be able to answer it, solve it accurately. So this is an addition. Effect of damping was written before the update. Now damping estimation and effect, these 2 things are written. They are sort of different. Damping effect was already there, as you can see here, but damping estimation has been separately mentioned. Now damping estimation, in some way we cover it. Logarithmic decrement actually is something which comes under damping estimation, but there are other ways as well. I mean, to estimate the damping there are broad 2 methods. There is one addition method, but broad 2 methods are there. One of them is logarithmic decrement, which we already cover, and there is one more method which comes under it, although that is less important, but now I am going to cover it in video course. I am going to add that in video course so that damping estimation topic can get completed. So it is an addition in the syllabus, but sort of it was, as I told you, already in the syllabus because logarithmic decrement comes under damping estimation. But there are some other things as well, some other methods as well, which now we are going to cover. So it is added in syllabus. Another thing is transmissibility ratio. Earlier it was not mentioned in the syllabus, now it is mentioned. It is something which we already know in the syllabus. Questions have already been asked from this in GATE, already covered in course. So yes, it was already in the syllabus. This is another meaningful addition in the course. Control system, PID controller and transfer function. This absolutely is a slight new direction for vibrations, a meaningful addition. We are going to add this in video course properly, and obviously it is an addition in the syllabus. So all in all, vibration I can say has a meaningful addition in the syllabus, and you must be absolutely confident and clear in these concepts before GATE. Now next is machine design. Before the update it did not mention belt drives, now it do. I think it was already in the syllabus. Belt and pulley as such is in the mechanics. Let me help you differentiate between them. Belt and pulley in the mechanics and belt drive in the machine design. They are same, but there are some things which are different. The friction analysis of belt and pulley, which we are going to do in engineering mechanics, right? But there are certain theoretical concepts linked with belt and pulley related to their actual usage, which you can say are part of belt drives, okay? So what I have done is I have kept them in a single unit and I have taught all of them in a single unit. So both of them means entire concept, the friction analysis as well as the theoretical discussion, entire thing you will find in Exergic, in mechanics as well and in machine design as well, because they are very much related with each other. So although it looks like that it is an addition in the syllabus, but it is not. At least in Exergic course it has been already covered, because I consider that to already be in the syllabus. Next is fluid mechanics. Fluid mechanics subject, before the update it did not mention concept of velocity potential, and now it has mentioned. So I think it is just something which they just mentioned separately. We already cover the concepts and numericals of velocity potential properly, so it was already in the syllabus. This is interesting. Compressible fluid flow, before the update, this was added in GATE syllabus 6 years ago for GATE 2021, and now they have actually clarified the wording, because this is actually a big topic. Compressible fluid flow is a big topic. There are entire books written just on this topic, one topic. It's so huge, right? So it was really challenging when it was added in the GATE syllabus. So as a teacher to decide what things to add in the course, because it's a vast topic. So at that time I added all the things that I thought are relevant for it, and almost 16-17 lectures I added on compressible fluid flow. Obviously whatever questions got asked were from those syllabus, so nothing new was asked. But these things, 1D high speed compressible fluid flow, is something which is already a part of compressible fluid flow. In fact, I will talk about this as well. This second part that you can see here means this third point of fluid mechanics. Flow through converging and converging diverging nozzle was not mentioned earlier before the update, but now it has been mentioned. In Exergic, this is already covered under compressible fluid flow. We have already discussed the concepts, theory, formulae for this case in our course. So what they have done here basically, that compressible fluid flow earlier was very broad name, broad topic. They have, I'll say, broken down and specified that into two specific domains. One is this, second is this. Both of them were already in the syllabus. So as you can see, this one I have ticked already in the syllabus, because at least in Exergic I have covered it. So that's why I am writing already in syllabus. This part, as I told you, was already in the syllabus. They have just changed the wording. Wherever I am saying wording clarified means it is automatically in the syllabus. They have just modified and clarified the wording, right? So in compressible fluid flow, there is no change in the syllabus, at least from Exergic's point of view, from Exergic video course point of view, and same for for velocity potential as well. So in fluid mechanics, I don't see any change happening in the syllabus. Moving on to the next one, which is engineering thermodynamics. Engineering thermodynamics before the update mentions 0th law, first law separately, and second law separately. And now they have combined all of them together. Obviously, just wording clarified. Calculation of work and heat in various processes. Again, a generalized name was there, a broad name was there. Right now also it is generalized only, but they have just added some parameters. So work and heat was there. Now they have written energy changes and entropy as well. Other than work and heat, they have mentioned energy changes and entropy changes as well. It's already in the syllabus, we already discussed it. So it's just a change of wordings, wording clarified. Now coming to this third point, application of first and second law for analysis of closed and open system. This again is something which is already in the syllabus. This is not something which is new, although they did not mention it before the update, but obviously we discuss all of these things in the course, so it is already in the syllabus. So in thermodynamics as well, they just modified the wordings, means things were already in the syllabus, or they added some things which again were already in the syllabus. So in thermodynamics as well, I don't see any change in the GATE syllabus. Moving on to thermodynamics applications. Before the update, it did not mention basics of combustion, air fuel ratio and equivalence ratio. Now this is something which we already cover in course under IC engine, right? So as I was telling you earlier, right, sometimes they mention the broad topic unit, sometimes they mention the individual topic as well. So IC engine is a broad topic. This comes under IC engine. Basics of combustion we teach, you learn under IC engine. So right now IC engine is there in the syllabus, but they have also clarified this part to be the part of syllabus. So already in the syllabus. This is interesting. Pump and pump characteristics is interesting because it is mixed bag. It is somewhat already in the syllabus but somewhat added, because we cover the pumps in the syllabus. In fact, we discuss some of their types as well, some of their numericals as well in the syllabus. But now they have separately clarified, separately written it, and I think it is very good change in the syllabus. It was necessary in the syllabus, because this is something from which questions are already coming in some way or the other, and there is a scope to teach more in pump characteristics specifically. And I think this change is a good change, because this is a topic from which many questions are asked in interviews as well. But in GATE, it was somewhat restrained. Especially if you look at PYQs, you will realize that the type of questions that GATE was asking, it was very basic and simple. So now, since they have mentioned it here, I hope they are going to ask questions from this as well. So, and it is definitely going to help you. This knowledge is going to help you, not just in GATE, but in other PSU exams as well, after interview as well, because these this topic, pump and pump characteristics, are actually important for PSU exams as well as for interviews. So it is a very good addition in my view in GATE syllabus. As I told you, some part of it was already in the syllabus. There are some things that I am now going to add into the syllabus, especially because they have separately mentioned it and they have separately written pump characteristics. So I am definitely going to consider it as an addition, and I am going to add things from this in Exergic video course. Now, heat transfer. Oh, the summary of this, as you can see, that there is some addition, especially in this category in thermodynamics application. Coming to heat transfer, boiling and condensation was not mentioned earlier. Now it has been mentioned separately. Again, I think it's a good addition because this is a topic similar to pumps and pump characteristics, which is asked in PSU exams as well as interviews, but GATE was restrained about it. So I will consider it as an addition in the syllabus. You may think that, sir, boiling and condensation is so simple. You already teach us what is boiling, what is condensation, but there are more details, more concepts and more analysis in this. It's a good topic. So now I am definitely going to add more content into this topic, which will be helpful for you, not just for GATE but for PSU exams and interviews as well. This is interesting. Heisler chart. Heisler charts was mentioned before the update, but now it is not. Again, some of you will think it is gone from the syllabus, it is removed from the syllabus. I will say it can still be asked. I won't consider it out of syllabus. Why? Again, I will go back to the initial this thing that I showed you. This Heisler chart is one of the subtopics under a unit, transient conduction, unsteady conduction. It is a subtopic under that. It is one way, one method of analyzing unsteady conduction. It was not making any sense anyway to write it separately. To write it separately, it was not making much sense anyway. So its removal from the PDF does not mean it is removed as a syllabus, because it is a subtopic which comes under unsteady transient conduction. So don't think it is removed from the syllabus. It is not something which is difficult, which is complicated. Absolutely, you must know it is there in the syllabus in Exergic video course, and I am not going to remove it. It is not going to take much time for you to understand what it is, and just understand it and that's it. You don't have to practice and try to solve and find questions from Heisler charts in your preparation. In fact, in our questions, practice question test series, we will remove the questions of Heisler chart for now. But remember that it comes under transient conduction, so it is going to be kept under video course. I am not going to remove it from the video course. You just watch the lectures, understand what it is and move on. It's easy. So I am going to definitely keep it. Material science. Before the update, it did not mention it, but after the update it mentions crystal structure of common metals. So as you can see, I have marked it into two categories already in the syllabus as well as wording clarified. Why? Because we already discussed crystal structure of some common metals in the syllabus, but now since it has mentioned it separately, so I am going to add it for some more metals, for a lot more metals. So although it was part of syllabus, but I think this one already it was part of syllabus, so I consider it kind of wording clarified, but since it has separately mentioned it, so I will reconsider what metals, what materials we have kept there, and I will add more. So that is why I am considering it to be both added in syllabus as well as wording clarified. This is a meaningful addition. The second point, this is what it mentioned earlier, structure and properties of engineering materials. Now it mentions properties and application of engineering materials, metal and alloys, as well as polymer, composites and ceramics. So it definitely is a meaningful addition in the course syllabus, in the GATE syllabus. Now coming to manufacturing and production, casting defects was not mentioned earlier in the syllabus, but now it has been mentioned. Again, it is a topic which comes under casting. There was no need to specifically mention it, but they have done it. Anyway, it was already a part of casting, it was already in the syllabus. Same for powder metallurgy, application of powder metallurgy, they have separately written. It is already a part of syllabus, so there is no meaningful addition, no addition as such. Solid state welding process, it is good that they have clarified it, that solid state welding process is also a part of syllabus, but as far as Exergic is required, I already consider it under welding, under metal joining, and I already used to teach it, so it is already a part of syllabus. Non-destructive testing method is something which is an addition in the course, and I am going to add it in the video course as well. Basic machining operations, again it is something which we already cover, we cover advanced machining operations as well. So yes, it was already part of syllabus. Geometry of single point turning tool, ASA and ORS systems, again something which we already discuss, and we not just discuss the geometry, but we also go into the analytical aspect of ASA and ORS systems. So obviously it is a part of syllabus as far as Exergic is concerned. All of these topics, this one, they were not earlier mentioned, and now they have been just mentioned. This is an addition. NDT, non-destructive testing, is an addition. Application of non-traditional machining process, again something which we already cover. It's a theoretical part of NTM, where we discuss how and why this method is better. NTM methods are better with traditional methods, as well as their comparison between each other. So this is something which we already cover, it is already in the syllabus. Now additive manufacturing is an interesting one. Before the GATE 27 syllabus update, additive manufacturing was a topic under CIM, under computer integrated manufacturing. It was a subtopic under that section. Now they have removed it from there and they have added it as a separate section, and they have listed actually what comes under additive manufacturing, what topics you need to cover. Now actually it is a good thing, because additive manufacturing in itself is very vast topic, and now they have defined what exactly you need to cover in additive manufacturing. So if you ask me, there are two important points here in additive manufacturing. The topics that they have mentioned actually narrow down, reduce your syllabus, because earlier options were open in all directions. So syllabus wise, I will say they have restricted it only to these topics. Which topics? Principles of different types of additive manufacturing process for engineering materials, additive manufacturing manufactured products, their advantage, limitation and application. Now, nothing new here. This is something which we already cover, because this was already part of CIM. So this has been already covered in the video course. So there is nothing extra here that we have not covered. Rather, I will say that we have covered some things which are additional to it. But anyway, the thing is that they have narrowed down the syllabus. But what they have done, that they have made it a separate section. It has a different meaning. A separate section means its importance has been increased. Something which was a subtopic has now a section in itself. So if you ask me, syllabus wise it has narrowed down, it has reduced, they have clearly defined the syllabus, but importance wise it has increased, because it is a separate section in itself. So since we are talking about syllabus here, so it was already in the syllabus. Okay. Coming to these two topics, these topics first. Okay, pneumatic, electro-pneumatic, hydraulic actuators for automation, and programmable logic controllers. These things are now under CIM. CIM name they have changed. CIM name, it was earlier computer integrated manufacturing. Now they have written computer aided manufacturing, means manufacturing done with the help of computer, and automation. So this name changed, they changed this name, and under this they have added these topics. So definitely it is an addition in the syllabus, because earlier GATE has not asked question from these topics. So definitely we are going to cover this and add this in the video course. Coming to these topics, it's a group of topics written together. Interestingly, I have put them in both the categories, means it is addition as well as it was there in the syllabus. Why? Because some of these things like Six Sigma, quality concepts, reliability concepts is something which we already cover, from which questions are asked. There are some other topics which we partially cover because in GATE PI they are asked, but in mechanical, at least in last 15-20 years, they have not been asked, and actually they were not specifically mentioned as well in the syllabus, but now they have been mentioned. So yes, there are going to be concepts and topics which are new here, which we are going to add in the course, but some of it was already there, but now it is a meaningful addition. We are going to properly cover these concepts in the course. Coming to engineering mathematics, before the update, Cauchy integral theorem and integral formula, this was written. They have just added one word here, contour integral formula. So it anyway is a contour integral formula, so it's just a clarification of wording and nothing else. Again, method of differential equation, so method of ordinary differential equation, again a clarification of wording and no change in the syllabus. So there is absolutely no change in the syllabus of maths. So this is it from the discussion, from the entire discussion. As I told you before, that whatever changes I have discussed so far, which are, you can say, additions in this syllabus, I am going to add all of them in the video course properly, thoroughly, and I expect you to be absolutely confident about these topics. We are going to cover them in a way that you will be able to answer the questions from them properly. Note that these additions does not mean they are highly probable to be asked in GATE, because let me remind you, actually in GATE 2021 questions, syllabus was updated, right? Topics got added in the syllabus, but even till today there are some topics which got added in 2021, 6 years ago, but till today zero question has been asked from those topics. This has also happened, right? So addition of these topics does not mean that you will shift your focus from everywhere and you will think that you have to master these topics only, and these at least 10 questions are going to be coming from these topics. Not at all. Don't keep that mindset. All right. Everything in the syllabus you have to treat with utmost sincerity. You have to understand properly to the right suitable depth, and these topics now got added to that list. Importance wise, as I told you, only additive manufacturing part, this part, I will say that its importance has been increased. Alright, but again, no guarantee that question is going to come from these things. You should not seek for guaranteed topics from where question is going to come. Whatever is listed in this syllabus, whatever I am teaching you, all of them you have to cover properly and sincerely. And just in case if you have any further query related to this change of syllabus, feel free to ask those queries in comments. I will be answering them. When it comes to Exergic video course, I am going to add all these topics which are newly added in the video course properly, thoroughly, accurately over the next few weeks. So make sure to keep checking course updates page, where all these updates gradually you are going to notice. All the best.